Good morning. So we'll start with session 3 on chapter Is Matter Around Us Pure? So in our yesterday's class we understood what is a mixture, different types of mixture, that is we bifurcate that in terms of homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. In homogeneous mixture it is further classified or known as a solution, or we also call that as a true solution. In heterogeneous mixture we understood about two types again, colloids or colloidal solution and suspension, right? We also discussed about one point in that, something called as a scattering of a beam of a light, which is called as a Tyndall effect. And I also gave you an activity to perform at home. I hope you all have done it. If not, please, I request you all to please do that activity today. It's a quite interesting one. You do not require much resources, just 2 glasses, wherein one you can take a solution and another glass you can take a colloidal solution. Colloidal solution you can take milk, or you can take something and just add into it, right? Quite simple task. I want you all to perform that. If not done yesterday, then today. We'll understand the meaning of what is Tyndall effect. Like in yesterday's class, we understood that when we pass the beam of light through a solution, the beam of light we cannot see. That means, suppose if this is a glass and this is a solution, right? And this is a colloidal solution. So if I focus this beam of light here in this light will not pass. You cannot see that beam of light scattering. But do not get confused. Scattering means it cannot get to other side of it. See here, let me just explain. Suppose if I pass the light here, this is a solution, okay? I have a white sheet here which is placed. I get that beam of light focused here. Got my point? But I cannot see the scattering of light inside this. You got my point? I can get the point on the white sheet, right? When I pass the line, I can get the light on the white sheet. But that scattering of light is not seen in this. As how we explained that, if you have a small hole near your window, door or anything, sunlight passes, you can see that light and air particles moving in that. That way we cannot see in this. But if I place another colloidal solution here, the light, I can see the beam of light in this, right? That is why I want you all to perform this experiment and check. Quite interesting. Practically you will understand. You will never forget that beam of light will not pass in solution, but we can not scatter in solution, but it can scatter in colloidal solution as well as suspension. Clear? So we'll understand the meaning of Tyndall effect here. Tyndall effect, scattering of light when it passes through a medium. Understood here? We are not saying about can we see or no. It is scattering. That light has to scatter inside. That is the main thing what we are seeing. So that medium is nothing but colloidal or suspension, and the effect what we see is called as Tyndall effect. So I request you all to please perform the activity and do message me and let me know on the same. Next, and as solution we were talking about, there are various components of solution. We all know that, but we did not know the general terms of the solution. Now for example, if I take a glass of water and add 2 spoons of sugar in it, right? What is water called as? It is called as a solvent, right? What we add in it, that is sugar, what we add in it is called as a solute. You all might have studied this. Water is called as, or water is known as universal solvent. Why? What do you mean by this? Because water can dissolve most of the substances present. Now you can tell it cannot dissolve this one oil, it cannot dissolve stone. I did not say all substance, it can dissolve most of the substance in it. That is why water is a universal solvent. Now which will dissolve, which will not dissolve, we are not discussing that. So water is basically a solvent. That means when I am adding sugar in it, sugar becomes a solute. Now here just example of something, if we have to understand much deeper, Solvent is great. Solvent is much in number or larger in quantity or solute. Now water, if I take 1 glass, I will not pour 1 glass of sugar or I will not pour 2 glass of sugar in it. Correct? That means if I take 1 glass of water, I only add 1 spoon or 2 spoons of sugar. Right? So I take solvent in larger quantity than the solute. Solute is always added lesser in quantity to the solvent. Let's understand the definition or meaning of it. Solvent, the component of the solution that dissolves the other component in it. When they ask what is a solvent and solute, you have to write a typical definition given in your book itself. The component of the solution that dissolves the other component in it is called as a solvent. Component present in it is larger amount. What is component? What we have taken as a water. Larger amount. Solute. The component of the solution that is dissolved in the solvent is called as a solute. Lesser in quantity or lesser amount what we add. So this is about solute and solvent. Now based on the solute and solvent, we define the types of solution. That means we have types of solution, state of solvent, state of solute, state of solution and the examples. Now for example, if I have to prepare a lemonade, imagine. So I take water, I take sugar, I squeeze the lemon in it, right? That means now, can you see any particles in it later? No. I have all added and I have mixed it. That means what type of a solution it is. Instead of water, I add half water and I had half soda in it, carbonated water. Now it becomes what type of a solution? There we discuss about this. So, state of solvent. Solvent is always in the larger number. Solute is always in the smaller number. So, whatever is in the larger number, that will be the state of solution. Always remember that, right? So, here whatever we take, that will be the state of solution. Initially a bit difficult to understand, but if you understand the concept here, it is quite simple. Let me take the first one. State of solvent is gas. Assume when I am telling each example, imagine that you have a glass, right? In that glass, if you have adding water, water is a solvent, larger in quantity. You are adding sugar, sugar is a solute. Okay, I'll just write here. If this is water, this is larger. If this is sugar, this is smaller quantity, right? Imagine. That means if I am taking gas as a solvent, in a glass I am taking gas. Imagine. I am adding gas as a solute only. Got my point? So for every example, start imagining or start thinking that you have a glass where glass is filled with gas. Glass is filled with liquid, solid, etc. To that, what you are adding as a solute? Sugar, right? That is here again gas, liquid. We'll understand. Got my point? So I take a glass of gas. I add few drops of gases. You think? I'll explain in that way. So it is gas in gas. What is the state of solution? State of solution is also gas because I have added the gas to gas. What could be the example? Air could be the example. Mixture of gases. Natural gas. It is again a gas. So how the questions can be asked in this part? These are 1 mark questions. Give examples for a type of solution of gas in gas. Give an example for type of solution for liquid and solid. Give an example for type of solution solid in gas. Understood? So these are the types of solutions, right? So gas in gas, state of solution is gas only. Example is air or natural gas. Next, liquid in liquid. In 1 glass of liquid, I am adding little bit of liquid. Water, sugar. So 1 glass of liquid, little bit of liquid I am adding. So what will be the state of solution? It will be liquid only. What could be the example? Alcoholic beverages or antifreeze solution. Now what are these? Now alcoholic beverages, when we talk about, if you look at the components of alcoholic beverages, it is a mixture of ethanol, water, yeast which causes fermentation, etc. Antifreeze solution. Antifreeze solution is a type of a fluid, what we can say, or basically we use this as a coolant in the vehicle, or we use it as a coolant. So those are antifreeze solutions. So it is liquid in liquid. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Liquid in gas, liquid and solid. I have a glass of liquid. I'm adding few drops of solid in it. If I'm adding a liquid, see, this is the glass of water. 2-3 spoons or 2 spoons of solid if I'm adding, it still remains liquid only, right? It will not change. So the type of solution is here liquid again. Example, seawater, salt water. Okay, it is a liquid only. Next, liquid in gas. I have a glass of liquid. I am adding 1 spoon of gas in it. What is the type of solution you get? 1 spoon of only gas is added. It will be again liquid. Example, soda. We call that as a carbonated water. Correct? You all know soda. So we all know, even cold drinks. What is present in that? Carbonated water is present. That's an example for liquid in gas. Next, it is solid. I have a glass of solid. I am adding again 2 spoons of solid in it. How is it possible? It is possible. That means it is solid in solid. What is the state of solution? Now when I am talking solution and I have a solid here, yes, we call it still a solution in this phase. Solid in solid, type is also solid. What it could be? Alloys. What are alloys? Alloys are the mixture of 2 or 3 metals or 2 metals, for example brass, bronze, etc. We mix those 2 or different metals and we form one particular metal. That's called as alloy. Next, solid in gas. I have 1 glass of solid. I am adding 2 spoons of gases in it. What will be the phase of it? Solution? It is solid only again. What is an example? Hydrogen in platinum. Quite abstracting to understand and know this. Now hydrogen is a gas. It is present in platinum. What is platinum? It is an element. It is also called as a white metal or a white gold. True, what we get in our jewelry shop. True, I am talking about that platinum, but again that is refined. Platinum, as it is originated or as it is as a ore, what we get it from the earth's crust, what we get in that is hydrogen is present in them. Now how hydrogen? I cannot see any hydrogen in that. While doing refining process, where it undergoes under processing, there we come to know, right? So this is an example for hydrogen in platinum. So these are the types of solution. When we talk about this, how the solvent or how much amount of solute is added, what amount of solute we add to the solvent, what type of solution we get and what examples we get here. A very important for 1 mark in MCQs. Quite confusing, but if you understand the concept by just imagining, I have a glass of gas only, I am adding a spoon of gas in it. What will I get? I get gas. I have a glass of liquid, I am adding 1 spoon of solid in it, I get the solution as liquid. I have a glass of liquid, I am adding 1 spoon of gas, I still get a liquid. Based on that, these are the examples, right? Now, we will be moving on to the next part of the solution only. What are the different types of solutions in terms of the saturation? That means, now for example, I give you a glass of water. And I tell you, add sugar in it. You add 1 spoon, you dissolve it. Add 2 spoons, you dissolve it. 3 spoons, 4 spoons, 5 spoons, 20 spoons. Do you think the glass of water is able to dissolve all 20 spoons of sugar? Yes or no? We'll understand in types of solution. We'll move on to the next part, which is concentration of a solution. But before understanding concentration of a solution, we need to understand few more parameters such as saturated solution, unsaturated solution and solubility to understand the meaning of concentration of a solution. Now what is saturated solution? In that we first understand saturated solution. when no more amount of solute can be dissolved in a solution at a given temperature, such a type of solution is called as a saturated solution. That means now the solution already has an amount of solute fixed in it. Beyond that, I cannot add anything. If I add, it will not dissolve. The solution, or when no more amount of solute can be dissolved in a given solution at a given temperature, particular temperature, it is called saturated point of the given solution, or we call that as a saturated solution. Unsaturated solution, when more amount of solute can be dissolved in a solution at a given temperature, is called unsaturated solution. That means the glass of water, if I add 1 spoon, it is unsaturated. Why? Because I can add second spoon, I can add third spoon. Till 4th spoon or till 3.5 spoon, it is unsaturated only. 4th spoon, it was unsaturated. 5th spoon, when I added, it could not, because that 4th spoon completed the saturation level of the water. Got my point? So when you go on adding, when the water is able to dissolve it, that is the unsaturation point of the water. When it fixes the particular point where no more solute can dissolve, that becomes the saturated point of the given solution. Then what is solubility? The amount of solute present in the saturated solution at a given temperature is called its solubility. That means if I have a glass of water, 4 spoons of sugar is its solubility. It can only consume 4 spoons of sugar only. Beyond that, it cannot. That is its solubility. Right? If we understand saturated, unsaturated and solubility, it will be easy for us to understand concentration of a solution. So about concentration of a solution, we will be dealing with this in our next class. Along with concentration of a solution, we also see, as we understood about different types of solution, solid in solid, solid in gas. There also we have different phases depending on the medium, different types of colloidal solutions we will be seeing, and we will be studying that in our next session. So in today's class, if you have any doubt, you can call on the same day of the video set. Thank you.